What is up, guys? It's Mechs on deck. We're back. It's Tuesday. It is November 17th. I had to check the date because I don't remember what day it is.
Which is weird because, you know, you're like back working and now you don't know what day it is.
Well, I don't know the date.
That's fair.
I just know that it's Tuesday, which means tomorrow's hump day. And then 2 more days, and then weekend.
Boom. I got the 9-day weekend coming up.
Ooh.
Excited.
Lucky.
Excited. How are you doing, man? How are you doing this week? I got to see you Friday, which was great.
Yes. Yeah, we got to hang out for a little bit, for a couple minutes. Got some fabulous things that are now a part of your background.
Thank you. Amazing supporters of the stream. For this, I get to show off the cool things that you guys help support the channel, and this is the cool things I get to do with it.
But no, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. If anyone in chat didn't know, I started a new job this past week. It's going really well, so I'm really enjoying it. So I'm excited to be a part of the team over there and get to sell things. So
G. Willard asks, "What's the job?"
I sell seat covers.
Hell yeah.
That's like like such a like the dumbed down version of what it is. It's like an actual like factory match of like a seat cover that doesn't exist anymore for like trucks and SUVs.
You know, gnarly Charlie, for you, nailed it. People got to sit.
You know what? Hey, you got a work truck that you've had for like 10 years and it's still running great, but your seat looks like a freaking howler monkey decided it wanted to tear it up. We can get you set up with a brand new one.
Boom. Manoli Visuals, are you talking about this? Because if you are, let me know. What was I going to say? Oh, no. The title. Thank you for the compliments. Because I sat here, I usually will have a title like almost honestly like the day before, and I just completely forgot. So I sat here, and right when we got on, I was like, "Fuck, I don't have a title." And we usually have the title also, or I guess yeah, we do. We do. You did put it on. Saying that, I was like, I know we usually have it like on the screen as well, and I just was typing, and I was like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, and I was like, how funny would it be if I just made the title, since it's so long, just like not even be half visible? So
I like it. Manoli, this is actually not a plant. This is actually a jar.
Ooh, I'll make you big. You can go through everything you got.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do what's on your desk in mail day. If you
I got a little bit of mail. I got some interesting mail and a funny story. What did everyone eat for dinner today? I had some frozen macaroni and cheese that my mom made like 4 months ago, and we were kind of looking at this week, and we we're like, let's just keep it easy. Let's just let's eat everything we have. Like let's get creative on what's in our refrigerator and our pantry and just eat everything. So, but yeah, it's pens, which if you're not riding with Pilot G2s, get out. Just saying.
I use fountain pens, Dave.
That's fair. Okay, but okay, whatever. That's
we fancy out
here.
If
you're not fancy with your Pilot pens, that's not right. That looks right. So yeah, I've got this now. Chat's covering it, but it's got, you know, I've got my Singa on display. The beam, the stud is on the right side, so it's not going to fall, or anything like that. But I've got my SM keyboards up top. I've got my Singa down below. Some lenses, a little Chewy down here. This is my D&D notebook. And then glasses, little glasses cleaner thing. So what brand drywall is that behind you? I have no idea. Boy, howdy, do I not know. So, but yeah, and then the whole thing's from IKEA. We went and Cyrus and I had a nice little evening at IKEA, went and picked all the parts out and spent a long time trying to figure out exactly what I wanted and all of that. So, but yeah,
also trying to find it.
Yeah, and then trying to find it was its own task. And then so that wasn't really mail. I got these in the mail, so I don't know how religiously people look at my glasses, but new glasses, and they are blue light filtering. I got this from a little. It's like a blue light thing, but it straight up like don't see it. It's kind of cool.
Interesting.
It's like whoa! Like here, I'll see if I can do it like on my shirt. Where is it? I can't see if it's on my. Here, there we go. I'll just do it like right in my beard or something. There. And then if I put my glasses in front of it, it just goes away. Whoa, it's like magic.
That's pretty nuts.
So I have to recommend it because I didn't realize my eyes were tired until I was wearing these for a while. Then I was like, "What? My eyes feel great." So if you own glasses, even if you don't, you can get them with just blue light filters. I know they sell the gamer ones that are like yellow. Don't mess around with those,
dude. I think it's like Gunner Optics, dude.
Yeah, Gunner Optics. I'm like, you don't need to get this, but if you have glasses, highly recommend the blue light. I didn't realize that it was messing up my eyes as much as I did, and I feel like there was something else that I got. Actual keyboard mail. So long story short, I pre-ordered Ursa in 2 separate rounds. I got my base and my space bars, and then I got novelties months later. And I got the novelties to Ursa.
Of course you did. But that base kit,
I got my novelties. They look fantastic. They're great. The green is great. The brown is fantastic. I love it. But I want to know what the alpha color looks like. So, I mean, I know I've got peaches and cream. I think that's the same as peaches and cream, but it's just funny that I was like, cool. I can live without this. I would have preferred it the other way around.
You know what? I will say, as much shit as the new GMK trays are getting, I feel like the child kit trays they're so much better.
I do enjoy the child kits. Those are fine. I never keep them in child kits, but in regards to like opening them up, they're not like, 4 of them stacked together and saran wrapped. It's like one big one. So are there even enough keys for a numpad? I don't think so.
You could pimp out your Pentone Nano.
Yeah, I guess I could. Maybe. We'd have to do some interesting cram some interesting keys, things that are not over. But let's see.
What's on
0.5 or 0.7? I'm going back through because I missed a lot.
Oh yeah.
No idea. Sorry, you're wrong. The correct pin to use. Okay. Well, of course I'm gonna make enemies that way. But yeah, that's my mail. And then last but not least, I got Mizu back. So of course, just I go back to it, right?
Old Faithful.
Old Faithful. It never lets me down. Like, I couldn't wait I got home and I literally, or maybe it was the next day. I think I didn't want to mess with it after. I just wanted to get home and play some games. But Baka 60, Squid 60, not really a delay. We're just waiting. I guess they're kind of backed up. So they're just waiting on anodizing. They're all machined, and anodizing takes about a week, but I guess they were like kind of backed up. And then China had a holiday at the beginning of October that I didn't even know about. So for those interested in that update, I've kind of mentioned this on the Discord, but we're still moving along. So
it's coming, dude. Also, I don't think we said it earlier. Shout outs to Gnarly Charlie for the tier 1 for 4 months. Appreciate it, my dude.
Absolutely. And someone else, sorry, one last thing. Whoever said I look like a Viking, thank you. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so that's a huge compliment. And 2, Easy likes pie. How long did it take you to grow out your beard? I technically haven't cleanly shaven my beard since 2011, but I've just I haven't really. I've been wearing it longer since quarantine started. You can actually probably go back like in earlier this year and you'll find it shorter. And then there's a point where I just stopped.
I feel like it hasn't been like super short in like
4 years.
Yeah, since we were living together.
The shortest it has been since we lived together was probably when I got married.
Okay.
I trimmed it not like super short, but I trimmed it and made it look very presentable for, getting married.
It was very shaped.
Yes. This is just like, fuck it.
Yeah, you could shape it out.
I could, but I kind of like it. Especially now that I'm playing Valhalla, I'm absolutely.
You gotta get it long enough, do the full the braids.
The braids. Oh. Anyway, what is on your desk? What did you get for mail?
I didn't get really any mail this week, I don't think. No.
I mean, you kind of did.
Did I? I mean,
I guess we can't open that.
What?
The board?
Oh, yeah. I'll be right back.
So I'm going to sit here and talk about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, maybe? I don't know. It's a great game if you haven't checked it out. No, and if you're wondering about quick shout out to our sponsors, Dixie Mech, Canon Keys, Project Keyboards, and SwitchMod.net, as well as our awesome partners, Smith & Rune, Type Beast, and Zap Cables. So big shout out to all those guys for helping support the channel, as well as all of you guys who help support the channel. So thank you. White Wolf Chewy, hell yeah, thank you. So what system are you playing on Valhalla? This one. Boom. PC. It's a little finicky, but like the game came out a week ago and there's like 900, different combinations of PC they have to code for. So I own a Switch. I don't own anything else. And Frothy KK, thank you for the 18 months.
Dude, we got twins, double baby.
Double baby now.
Dude, our baby's almost one.
Quick turnaround.
All right. So this, I must say, first off, great box, great unboxing option. So I will be building this as a Mode 80 TKL. Card out so I don't misspeak on the color and everything. So this is a Mode 80 first edition in dark with a solderable PCB. It is a B stock board. It's pretty cool. They have a little card that comes with it. Explains what you get. But I haven't actually like fully opened it. I'm thinking about saving that for stream. Because it is kind of packed up real nice. But he also sent over which I haven't opened this. This is a prototype polycarb plate, which I might play around with a little bit. Who knows? I haven't quite decided yet, but I will be building this board on Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Time. So I'm pretty excited. It's a cool looking board. Yeah, like I said, great unboxing experience. From when I kind of looked at some of the stuff that's in here, it looks pretty freaking cool. So I'm excited.
Very nice. Very cool. I'm excited to watch that build too. I know Odos is building one either like right now or he's wrapping up on one.
Yeah, he was building one earlier today. Also, The City at Night. Thank you for the tier 1 for 11 months. Appreciate it, my dude. And then what is on my desk? Well, this is the other piece of why Chewy and I met up. I have gained control of the Plum Iron 180 with 9s on it. I'm taking it for a spin for a few days. We're gonna have some fun pictures coming up in the next couple days on our Instagram, so be sure to be following our Instagram. So,
do you like the backspace on that,
dude? The 1U backspace,
the double 1U backspace.
Yeah, it's the board feels great. It sounds really good. I actually surprisingly really like these switches that he put in.
Mm-hmm.
They feel really good. They feel really good.
That was the one thing I was like, I mean, they feel, to me, it's like the switches feel fine. And it's one of those 2 years ago, I would have loved them.
Yeah.
But I think to me, they're like 80% of what I want them to be. But they sound good. That's a big part. The board just sounds really, really good.
Yeah,
but
it does.
Also, you like the less tactile switches, though. You enjoy the switches that are not like, go fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good tactility, but it's not as big and it's a slightly smaller but significantly shorter bump than like what you would get out of the Zyko. I feel like that's the big difference between like the T1 stem and the Halo stems.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they were Jesus housings with T1 stems, Mason Gray. So very similar. But yeah, so let's move in to the topic. So the episode, I'm just going to read this because I think it's funny. The episode is episode 74, gasket mounted brass plate with a Daughterboard 65% /TKL USB Type-C with case and via support. Why did I say that? Well, we've talked about this the last couple weeks, right? And honestly, a lot of this is, I sent this to Cyrus and I was like, I really like this topic because it's really good. And when we were talking about, usually we like to have kind of you have your A topics and your B topics. And we usually try and keep the A topics for tonight. And then the B topics are kind of what we'll do with especially guests that have never been on, so we can make it more about them at the beginning and then kind of lead into a conversation. And I thought this one was interesting enough to really dive deep in, the two of us. And the main actual topic is are popular designers and vendors gauging what boards people are using because of these hype beast style boards. So let's go into the extra layer of this, which is timeline, right? So 2018, the 60% board is ruling the world at the time. There's just not a whole lot competing with it at the price. It's, still a lot of people are not comfortable spending crazy amounts of money quite yet. They don't mind it, but they're not spending the kind of money we're seeing spent today. And 60% are everywhere. They're making standardized PCBs for it. So that's the extra layer of it. You've got boards like the E6 V2, sorry, the exclusive 60%. You've got stuff like the Fox Lab, the Leaf 60. The Fiel's been around forever. The Clippa used to be a huge deal before, and then the Tofu came and shook the whole world up. All these 60% boards that were doing amazing things. And then to me, it's like we peaked at the Polaris, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, there it is. Gasket mount, 60%, wind keyless, under $300. The Polaris was the pinnacle and the epitome of keyboards in 2018 leading up to it into 2019. And there goes 60%. Like,
yeah. Well, and it's interesting because it felt like before, like in 2018 and even into 2019, there were always people, like 60% were the consistent, and then people would dabble into other things. And then like the tail end of 2019, so like right around when Bauer, Iron 165, Key 65,
the Q had been out for a little bit.
Yeah, like those boards started to come get out, and then like the Think 6.5 was already in people's hands at that point. Like it just kind of it snowballed into 65% taking over. Like, and I know for you, as someone who does not like 65% at all, it really kind of
it saved my wallet.
It saved your wallet, but it kind of pigeonholed the community a little bit. And then like I know there was a huge disappointment in the community. Not a huge, but I think a lot of people were disappointed with the TX60 V2s. And like basically the V2 line. It just wasn't, I don't think it
didn't do anything.
Yeah, it didn't do anything. Like it wasn't what people was expecting. It had an opportunity to come in and do something really cool, and then it just didn't do enough. Like it's not a bad board by any means, but it just didn't do enough, whereas like you said, in 2018, we had things like the M60 first getting released. We had
I forgot to mention that on my list of iconic 60%.
Yeah, like these
definitely
these pinnacle boards, and even boards like, I know it's a meme because it never actually happened, but like people attempting to do things like the Lumina or the M0110 back in 2018, like while those weren't the most successful of group buys, they were still like ambitious in the way that they approached it. And I feel like the community has kind of lost that, and getting kind of into the topic of like, are the big vendors, big designers, like, are they the ones that are setting it up? I don't think they are, because I think you still have your usual suspects, like Fiel's still happening. Quakeham's built an E Ultra Hot Fiel last night, dude, or not Fiel, Clippa, and it looked awesome.
Yeah,
like there, the people who were doing 60% in 2018, a lot of them are still doing it, but the thing is that no one knew. Like very few people are doing new 60s. Like you've got the Saturn 60, which is a cool, like very far off from the norm in the design.
That's a novelty board, right? You've got it's new, it's neat, but it's not really. You're not you're not checking off boxes, and that's kind of what we talked about last week. Is a lot of these boards are just checking off boxes, right? And in reality, and I'm the first one to say I love the Fiel. The only reason I don't have the Fiel is I just kept going for other boards, and I knew that I was going to want to get a key colt, and I already had my Baca, and it was basically I don't want to axe the gasket mounted 60%, and with the key colt already being kind of tested with that 60% run a year ago, I was like, I know that the whatever it was called, the tend. I know that the tend is going to be good, but it's technically not proven yet. And so I was like, oh, let's get the key colt, get it in the color that you want. And but I'm like, okay, well, I'm either going to choose my Fiel or my Baca, and I'm not going to fucking get rid of my Baca. So it became the choice of like, well, I don't really need this many 60%.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is interesting too, because it's like, I think I use the 260s that I have right now, because I did part ways with my TX60 a few weeks back, a few months ago now. And I use my Sirius still a lot. My Baca, I actually have issues with my PCB right now, so it's not the Baca's fault, but it's the Zeal 60 that's in there. It's probably more my fault than it is the PCB, but I haven't taken it apart and looked at it. When you have a bunch of other boards to like throw on your desk, you kind of forget about the issues that one have.
You're like, oh, well, I'll get to it.
Yeah. But like, one thing that I feel like is missing is that you don't see a lot of companies, like a lot of bigger companies, they used to do 60s alongside the 65. Like Key Cult does it. You saw it with the Brutal and the Savage, but even then you've seen more Savage releases recently than Brutals. It feels like the Brutal has kind of been the forgotten child in that line right now. And like, of course, the TX boards.
And another big one too is, where's the Tofu V2? Where's the Tina V2? These are two 60% boards that I get. Now, as a business move, I get it, right? When your KBD 67 Mark II is being compared to much higher end boards, people are going for those boards. People are going for the 67% or 65%, the KBD 67. We just haven't seen anything, and now they're pumping out these 65% because, well, let's think of some of the top boards. The Bauer and the Iron and the Key Colt are 65%. These and I mean, you can stretch it to say that the J01 is kind of a 65%. That's a bit of a stretch, but it's like a 65% plus 8. NK65, we're seeing all these boards come out at 65% that are hype, right? And just because a board is really expensive doesn't mean it's not hype, right? NK65, massive amounts of hype around that. Bauer Light, that's going to be a hard board to get. I hope he's ready to make a lot of them, because that board is going to be one of the most sought after boards in the hobby, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. And it's funny because the more that I think about it, I'm thinking about like the 60s that have come out. You had the JO2, which was a 60. The thermal just shipped to people. People are really, really enjoying that. It's obviously HHKB, but still a 60. And the Kara, I believe, is on sale currently. So they are out there, but I feel like it's like, because the more hype boards and the more consistent releases are in like 65s, that all the like the regular boards, the people who are creating an interest check and putting it on Geekhack and don't have a vendor are trying to check the boxes of our title, right?
Yep.
Like they're trying to check those boxes. I'm gonna butcher this name. Amu Aisi? Sure, that name says, what are the savings of 60% above the 65? If for space savings, I wonder if some of the market for space saving went to the sub 60% market. Thought process, there are other keys I don't use, can remap or save more space. What do you think about that, Chewy? As an avid 60%.
So
fan.
my argument is two reasons. The biggest one to me is symmetry.
Yep.
I think that's a lot of people's. I like the symmetry, the compact. I know in our episode where we just debated for 2 episodes straight about layouts that all I did was talk about, oh, it's extra. No, it saves you that much space. Like if
It's like
someone's
1U.
losing all this, I'm not upset that I'm losing this much space. I'm upset that I'm losing symmetry. And 2, I don't use arrows. Well, I do, but I don't need them on my top layer. And if I do, 75%.
Yeah, I think it's for me, I like, and this is why I like the Bauer so much. It is the aesthetics of the way the board looks. I think if you put a keycap set, you put like the standard keycap set of like a Cafe or an Olivia. Wait, those are the same.
Got him.
But you put one of those sets like that, like an olive, something that's dark alphas, dark mods, light alphas. If you put those on a 60%, it looks like physically much cleaner because it's the full symmetry. It's the same reason why we always kind of meme about split backspace and mod color, well, backspace in that term if you're using split backspace, or pipe key if you're using full backspace, is that symmetry of how it looks aesthetically. It just looks very clean. And when you add that random column on a 65, unless you're doing like exploded arrows, even if you are, it still is not the same. Like the aesthetics of it is not as clean, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. And the added part to that of these extra keys is, for me, with the 60%, it does everything that I need to on a day-to-day basis. If I need to go in to do some extra work, I'm honestly probably grabbing my Singa, because if I need 4 extra keys, I'd rather have 20 extra keys, right? I'd rather have the full scope of what I need in a 75% or my TKL. I don't I always called, when I had my Austin, my get shit done board, because if I need to make an Excel spreadsheet, if I need to go edit a bunch of things and use a lot of numbers, it's great to have everything there. Everything's there and everything's ready for me. But I don't always need that. And then, when I want just something on my desk for my day to day, I typically don't need all this crazy stuff. At work, I have my Alice style board, my OSA, that doesn't have arrows. I don't typically need arrows at work. Most of the time, I'm just writing emails. So,
yeah,
it's just, if I'm adding 5 keys, I might as well add a lot more. I don't think adding 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 6 keys. If I'm adding like 6 or 7 keys, it doesn't. I don't need it.
For sure. Let's get into some other things in this, because I know we've kind of hammered home the 65%, the layout debate. Something that I really enjoy that all boards have now is USB-C. I feel like whenever I get a board that has mini, I'm like, oh, come on, please. It's like when you get a PCB that needs O-rings to not short. You're like, I thought we were past this.
Yeah. I have my Crown and my Alice. The Crown came with an older version of a PCB, and my old Alice PCB, too many problems with it. My own problem, not it wasn't by any means not drifting bunnies, but blind assassin. And then the Singa is also, so I have 3 fucking boards with mini USB. I'm like, damn it. Like, so, I mean, it's great because, here's a quick plug: Zap Cables. If you find yourself with this problem, get yourself, this is why you use connectors, by the way, if you need multiple layouts. I know they look pretty. I'm under the thing that, like, yeah, connectors are great. Did you buy the other connector? No. Why are you have a connector on there? But I get lots of usage out of my split cable, so that I can have the same aesthetic on my desk with no matter what board I'm using.
Yeah. We're also weird though because we're both like anti coils.
Yeah.
Like I don't need that.
I liked them for a
bullshit.
while, but they look cool. And then I found myself tweaking with it too much. I found myself being like, let's make it perfect. I'm like, no, I don't care
Like
anymore.
I just need the keyboard to work. I want the keyboard to look good, and I want it to not come unplugged when I turn it almost completely sideways. So, but yeah, I'm down for USB-C. I'm also down for cases with boards. I think that's a great option. Like I did open up, like for instance, the Mode 80 that I'm building on Saturday at 2 p.m. Come check it out here on twitch.tv/Mechs on deck. It comes with a nice box with a little carrying case, which is cool. And it's not a carrying case like what Dixie did or like the TX cases. It's meant to be more of like the next step up from like a sleeve, right? Like it's good enough to take around and like to hold, but it's not gonna like you can't drop it.
Yeah,
And
you could throw it in your backpack and be okay with it
Yeah.
hitting something in the backpack.
Like I'm down for boards to have those. Like even like the Iron 165, it's like a very similar case to what the Dixie did, but it doesn't have as much foam like in the top. It has a pocket, which is also really nice to use. If you're taking it to and from work every day, you can store shit in there. And then you can throw some pins in there, you can throw your cable in there. That's like a really cool option, and I hope that we see that more as time goes on, and that they continue to kind of like innovate on those and make them better and better.
Yeah, it'd be cool. What I want to see is a case like that with an exterior like little pocket.
Ooh, true.
Like that's what I want. Doesn't give protection to the stuff that's inside or inside that exterior. If you want, your cable to be safe, then I get that. But also, Bueno Builds, what's up? Tomorrow we will be having Bueno Builds on. So if you don't already, give Bueno Builds a follow. Bueno, if you want to throw that link in chat, go ahead and do it. Thoughts on boards having pre-flashed via instead of having to manually do it? To me, that's just customer service, right? If you want people to be happy, spend the time to flash it. If you don't care and you think people, if they're going to be buying your board and you think like it seems like a gatekeeping thing, but I like personally I wouldn't, right? Because I'd be like, if you're buying this board, then you probably have enough experience with a board. Like let's say the Iron 165, right?
Mm-hmm.
You probably should have enough experience with at least a PCB or be in a Discord with someone that knows what's going on. Most Discords, especially I know ours, if so you go, hey, I'm having a hard time with QMK and VIA, can someone help out? Most people are going to help you, but I feel like under the assumption of you should know how to flash a PCB.
Yeah. I think because it's one of those things. It's like the interesting piece of VIA is that it is an independent variable, right? Like someone has to port that into VIA to make it compatible and then get that support. So you're relying on people whose entire job is not to just put things into VIA. Like it's a different framework. Like for those who don't know, because like initially it wasn't supposed to be what it is today. VIA was funded by Rama for their boards and for Wilba PCBs. Like it was came out with the M60, the first round, the M60A, and then it was supported their macro pads and stuff. Like, I mean, hell, this M6A, I believe, is what this is. This doesn't naturally support VIA.
Yep.
I have to flash it into VIA.
The Rama one.
Yeah, like this is a Rama product. They paid for the program that we use. Like, so it's one of those things. It's like you should kind of understand how to do that. It's not that hard. It's like clicking a few buttons. And also, I think it's something that's critical to being in this hobby is knowing how to flash something in QMK. So
definitely a necessity. I think. And someone else said, if you're making a board, and if you claim VIA, maybe get the okay that you're gonna put it in VIA. Like maybe have that set up and squared away before before claiming it has it, because we've seen that mistake before where people claim VIA and not actually square that away with anybody. And two, this is one that personally I can't stand, and it drives me crazy because if we get a proto, like I just have to deal with it because it's a proto, right? It's not gonna, if it's a proto before a group buy, not a like at sale product. I'm like, I hate that I have to like go through the flashing and all that. I've gotten lazy with VIA. I picked my PCBs because of VIA, like, and all that. But have your PCBs ready to go for the end user experience, because when you open it up and you plug the board in and you want it to just work in VIA, because I mean, at the end of the day, if it's in VIA, all the person should have to do is go to the website. I think it's called like Can I Use VIA or something like that. It is called, caniusevia.com, and see if your PCB's on there, and then download the program. And then if the PCB's ready to go, if you can already download the program well before you even get the board, open up VIA, plug in the board, boom, you're ready to go. And you're doing that before you even build it. You can flash it so it's ready to go the second you're done screwing it in.
Yeah, and like even if it's not in there, it's like fairly simple now. Like you can just open QMK toolbox and just flash the PCB to the firmware that's there, like for your PCB, and then it'll work. Like the Satisfaction 75, I had to do that when I built the round 2, the Proto. I had to flash it. I just opened QMK toolbox, flashed the stock one, and then I opened up VIA, and it was fine, and it was working, and everything, including the screen, was all Gucci. So it's really not that hard if it is supported by VIA, but it's not like you have to flash it first. Like it's not like you're having to go like 7 different places. It's not like you're having to go to the configurator, use it, then download your map, and then import that through Toolbox, like, and then do that whole shebang like we used to. You're just like, here's one button, I select my PCB, I hit go, and then you're good.
Off to the races. So yeah, I think people are talking in chat like, should VIA be like more accessible, more available? That's up to the people that make it, right? If you want more, maybe there should be a pro version of VIA, right, that they charge for. Like I think that could be perfectly reasonable. If you want to flash your own stuff into VIA, maybe you have to pay for it. If you want to complain about it, guess what? You don't have to pay for it. Here's still the free version that if your board works. If not, go to QMK, because that's all still there. Like,
yeah,
VIA, you don't need VIA to get a keyboard to work.
VIA is
QMK. VIA is just QMK with a mask on it.
VIA is a feature, not a necessity. It is something that is still technically like it is not an open source, a fully open source program. Also, holy crap, Alex,
My
what
guy.
is up?
Where's Odos? You better show your face in chat, Odos.
Also, thank you.
Thanks to it Juan Wonton for my sub gift.
Thank you for the raid, man. I got to finally. I haven't talked to you in forever, man. I'm glad I got to like chat with you, but I had to talk to. If you guys don't know who Alex Odos is, please go check him out. By the way, he's got the best stash in the business, and is just an amazing dude. I wanted to talk to him the other day. Yes, we also have a mode that Osiris will be building this Saturday. So if you liked the mode build you just saw from Odos' stream, go ahead and check out ours Saturday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time with Osiris. But Odos, I need to talk to you more because I had to talk business with you the other day. And I just we used to we gamed together a few times and we just played a lot. And then I feel like I went to work. I went back to work, and then I just never got to talk to Odos. But I love you, bud.
Absolutely. But yeah, VIA's cool.
VIA's nice after using was it JSON?
Not JSON. JSON's the file extension. Yeah. Whatever the TX boards, Jingon.
There it is.
Yeah, dude, that
is literally the worst.
Or before configurator was actually good, and you would have to figure out the actual key map and then type it in, and build it and then export it, dude. Like, man. Didn't you remember the mapping program that KBD fans used to have that was just like the web-based
Yeah, the
program
Tada. Oh,
for the
yeah,
Tada?
I forgot about that. That's crazy. I think this is more of a question of group buy responsibility, but if a board designer says we'll have VIA during IC, should it have VIA by group buy shipping? Yes, and I will be upset because you're essentially saying this board will have VIA. Cool. That means the finished product, when it is shipped to me, it needs to be in VIA and ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, I will say it needs to accept it. I don't feel like it necessarily has to like work on the first plugin. I feel like just like going through and just being like, oh, hey, yeah, now it's accepted, but you have to flash it first. I feel like that's fine.
That's fair, but you need to have proof that it's like in VIA.
Yeah.
Like someone has spent the time to port it, because I have had boards and PCBs where I go, okay, cool, is this ready to go? And they go, well, it's not in VIA. Sorry, we're still waiting for it to be in VIA. And I'm like, well, why? Like, why did you tell me that what I was purchasing was going to be in VIA, and now I've purchased it and it's in my hands and now it's not in VIA? You know, that's something that actually upsets me. So I think, don't kind of Drifting Bunny's kind of said, don't promise VIA. VIA should just be the icing on the cake.
Yeah. Will support VIA. I think will support VIA, because then you're not like, when you say, I don't know, it's one of those things like the context of what you're saying can change it, and you can hide behind it, because it does take a while to get in, and you're requiring other people who are outside of the control of your group buy to do something which they may not have time for. Like,
honestly, like I just go with will be supported through QMK. And if people say, what about VIA? Just say, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, VIA support coming. If you've already had that conversation and they're working on it, like you can say that. Like, I don't know. I feel like we're getting into like a way too excessive into VIA. Third party, they do what they want.
Yeah. Alex Odos, love you, dude. Hope you had a great stream. Enjoy your evening, and much love. So let's think about the boards that are hype, right? Let's think, because we haven't touched on TKLs. I think if I had a spicy take for tonight, I think there is only one reason that TKLs are the way that they are. And I think it's because of Mr. Teja types. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But I think Teja frequently uses TKLs, frequently talks about how much he loves TKLs, and his rise to fame and his meteoric rise on Twitch all was around a lot of these really hyped TKLs. And he talked about, so when you have a huge chunk of our community is kind of goes through the funnel that is Teja, right? You start with, a lot of people will start with Teja, and then it gets kind of, it's like through a sieve, right? Through a like it gets sifted out to where it sprinkles to a lot of other people. But what is he saying? Oh, I love TKLs. And then you see his beautiful key cult with, his amazing key cult TKL that looks beautiful. So a lot of people are going, that looks fucking nice. Also, TKL is one of the easiest things to convince someone to get, because it's like it's not new to them. It's there. There's nothing changed about the TKL from when TKLs were basically released, outside of maybe a couple bottom row things.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. Nathan's a classy guy. TKLs are like, I would say probably, yeah, they're like one of the, we've referred to it before as it's like the tuxedo of keyboards. And like the other piece is, and Pylon 7 kind of got into this, is like the history of keyboards, like of really nice keyboards, was a lot in TKLs. Like you look back, and even before like we were doing a ton of custom stuff, like the Nova Touch is a pinnacle board for a lot of people who have been in the community for a long time. You've got a lot of TKLs. A lot of people are familiar with the layout. That was a board where if you couldn't make a PCB, you could, Harvest one. Like you could get a TKL PCB. It wasn't that difficult to design. In terms of like in comparison to what we're doing now with like the crazy designs and stuff, like it was fairly simple. Like TKL is like the classic of the community, you know? It's just kind of it's the mainstay.
It's there. It's what have we done from TKLs, right? So full sizes have their place and TKLs have their place. We went from TKL and we basically said, well, there's a lot of space. How can we shrink this down? And then you started looking at other things like, okay, well, how much do we need the F-row and how much do we need on the top? That's where you start cutting things off. When you look at a TKL, you can see where everything is on all the other layouts, right? Because it's an 80%. That's a common thing. It's above all the other percentages because it has everything. It looks, I mean, they look clean, right? There's no getting around it. They look fucking clean, but they do take up a lot of space. And someone was saying, when did they take a dip in popularity? I don't think they ever became unpopular. I think people were more focused on building other things at the time. With smaller boards, it was, how can we make a board smaller? How can we make a board, kind of go, I want this usability on my desk. I don't need all this extra space. It's that minimalistic lifestyle that kind of started coming in.
I'm trying to think of like what TKLs were big in 2018. Like Time, Moon, the Jane, like the original Jane run. But like even then it was like very few and far between when you had the problem is that TKLs for the most part had always been a almost unattainable level, if that makes sense. Like they were always the boards that were the highest priced, the hardest to get. You even back then in a time when key sets were selling 300, like Olivia sold 350 base kits in a group buy. Jane was still selling out in, minutes. Like it wasn't like the Satisfaction 75 round one where it took a week to sell all of the units. It was still
TX. That's the other one.
TX, the 84 and the 87.
Yeah.
Like there were popular ones, but they were like relatively harder to get. I guess I would say the only ones that were relatively easy were things like the TX boards. But even then, it's not like when you looked at the TX website, they had 60s and 65s in stock still, but they didn't have 84 and 87 SEs.
Yeah.
Like
it's easy to me, it's also one of the most marketable boards, right?
Yeah.
You can put your own design on. There's a lot of space there.
It's very approachable too.
Yeah, it's approachable. You can sell it to people that are maybe not super into that idea. That a TKL is a board that you can go up to someone and go, there's a lot of people in this hobby, right? I don't know how many people are on Reddit. Long story short, I stopped following our mechanical keyboards because there was some. We've talked about the toxicity.
766,000 members.
Yeah. So, of those 766,000 members, we're over 750,000 people, and that's just on Reddit. There's a lot more. Granted, a lot of those people are probably just looking at pictures, and are just kind of in the gaming community. But I think one thing you can do is, and I think this was a big thing with the KBD 8X Mark II, is you can go up to someone and go, "This is the only keyboard you'll need. Let's get you this board, and I'll get my E white, or I'll get a blue or a pink or a polycarb, and throw rainbows at it, and let me just get this, and I'll never need another TKL." If it wasn't for the Baka, if I had to get out of the hobby, I honestly would probably go for a TKL because I know that it's there. I know that it's got everything I need. It's approachable. I can have someone sit down at my desk. I can't do that now at work because it's the OSA and people ask me all the time, what is that? But at a TKL, someone can sit down and go, oh, I know exactly what this is. They don't start freaking out. Now I use split backspace, so people might get a little confused by that. But that's something that it's easy to kind of go, this is the end game keyboard. You don't need anything other than this.
Yeah, true. And it's very approachable as a layout. And with releases like the KBD 8X Mark II, it became a little bit more approachable from a pricing standpoint. Like even the U80 is still relatively fair priced for what you get when you look at like a lot of other TKLs. Not that they're not worth the money that they command, because I think they are. They're just way more expensive than like a 60 or 65% equivalent more often than not. Like that extra 100, 150 bucks is pretty big for a lot of people. You know, you look at what you can get from like just look at the Iron 165 to the Iron 180. You know, it's over $100 price increase just for the TKL. And that's, you know, it's justified. It's a lot more materials. This takes more time to create. But yeah, I mean, it's weird that we haven't seen more TKLs try to get into the budget area. Like we're seeing all like the Kara NK65, the Bauer Light, but we haven't seen that.
We haven't seen the light. We haven't seen the injection molded TKL. I think a lot of that could have to do with like caps and switches, right? Well, I guess not caps, but switches, right? That's the one thing when you're telling people like, hey, this is what you have to do. Well, now you have to get even more switches, and now you have more stabilizers, and so 60 to 65%, and even the 75%. I mean, these two boards right here use the same amount of stabs, but it is like 15 more switches, right? So that's 20 more switches. That's just added costs. With these bigger boards, you do have added costs that start piling up. Like if I'm going for a full size board, you're going to start adding on. These costs are going to start piling on where it's like, okay, now I got to get this. Now I got to get this. Now I got this. Even when you go into full size, now you might have to worry about, do I have a key set that even has a numpad on it? Osiris and I always kind of joke about whenever we're building a full size board, we're like, shit, what set do we use on this? Because there's like 3 of them that don't have it.
I'm always like, minimal will look good. Oh wait, I don't have numpad. But yeah, I don't know. TKL's like Sra X Mousy says he's new to the hobby. He'd love to get a TKL because that's his preferred size. It's hard to get a custom one, so he had to rebuild a pre-built. That's a lot of people I think do that too. But I wonder what the market would be like for like a $300 TKL right now, because I know there was the EO87, but that was like the TX stuff. Like TX feels like it hasn't really done as much in terms of like keyboards recently. It's been more focused on like the accessories and running key sets and stuff. But I wonder how well a board like the KBD 8X, if it was to run right now, how well would it do?
I think it would slay.
Yeah.
I think if the KBD 8X ran again, which they claimed it was going to, but never saw that. I think it would do really well. And honestly, the only reason I sold my TKL was I was upset with the color that I picked. If I had gotten that KBD 8X in white, I'd still have it. I would absolutely still have it. I just didn't like the color that it came in. I had a chance to sell it, and I literally sold it in 5 minutes, got the money, sent that money to Blind Assassin, and got a crown. Like it never even hit my account. It just stayed in PayPal. So 8X ran last August, so I guess it did run. But didn't they do like a limited one?
Yeah, I mean like unlimited. It's like
unlimited. Because like, look, the U80 did really fucking well.
Yeah, and that's that was 5 something or 4 something. Last August, as in 2019. I think that's because then that wouldn't have. What? 2019. We're talking about like now.
Yeah, recent. The KBD 8X group buy was in the summer of, I want to say it was 29. It was like the group buy was in like April, May.
Yeah.
Because it was before the summer, because they promised a July delivery and it didn't.
So there was a group buy this year, June 20th. June. Interesting. I didn't even know that. That's funny. I didn't really even hear about that because I'm not like super tuned into what's going on in KBD fans anymore, because that's not really like my spot. Like, I obviously knew about Vega.
Yeah.
And I knew about other stuff. Interesting.
Okay. In stock, sold out less than 5 minutes. Yeah. What we are discussing is the potential of how it would be in a world where we could, where KBD was able to take on another unlimited group buy.
Well, yeah, they did run one.
They said June 20th was in stock, sold out less than 5 minutes. So I don't know. Who knows?
They ran an unlimited one, Dave.
Oh, okay. And then they ran. Okay.
But the thing is that the community has also gotten significantly different since the summer to now. Like, even if you look at like different runs for boards, like things are selling out at insane paces now. Like, the community growth has been insane over the past like 3 months. So I don't know. I'm always wondering, because like, even if something runs like, and then half a year later you look at it, it's going to be a completely different space. We see that every time with any group buys. Polaris in summer of 2019 sold 12,000 units in a month. Or not 12,000, 1,200 units.
I was like, that's a lot of units to Polaris.
Satisfaction 75 sold over 1,200 units in 20 minutes. So it's like, I feel like people, I don't know.
So someone's bringing up, I think the market is softening. I think we're starting to see a separation. I think if you're talking about softening, I think, yeah, we're seeing it might take a hit on some of the lower to medium. Like, I'll be honest, the squid took about a day. It took a while to get all the spots filled. Now, I didn't market it like crazy. I really only talked about it on here. I made a couple posts on Reddit and Geek Hack, but as much traction as those could get. But it also was kind of in the heart of quarantine, right? And that's where it's hard to ask some people to put up that kind of money in the middle of quarantine, in the middle of potentially losing their jobs. But I don't think it's softening. I think if people are having a hard time selling things on Mech Market, I think there are less people going to Mech Market because they're assuming they're not going to be able to get boards for certain prices.
There's more things being available at varying price ranges that people are purchasing, and Mech Market is not I don't think Mech Market should be a gauge of the state of the community in terms of like, if things aren't selling for outrageous prices on Mech Market, we should be worried. Like, that's crazy. Like, oh, I can't sell my Fjell for $900. Okay, well, a Fjell's not worth $900. Like, let's be realistic. It's still getting crazy big. Like, there will be certain things, like if certain things are hyped, they're going to sell a ton. If certain things just get released and it's kind of hush hush, like, for instance, the KBD 8X, we didn't even know about that. Like, obviously that wasn't super, super hype. Some people stay in their own lane with the way that they market. They don't go all the way out there. They don't try to get, people like Teja or other streamers to, hype up the board, hype up the new release. It doesn't necessarily do as well because there's so many options out there. There's like 15 key sets running every single month.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
And Bucknut brings up a good point. Anything hyped, if it gets hyped, it's going to sell because it's a win-win. If you like it, then great. You have a board that not a lot of people have. If you don't like it, you're going to be able to sell that. You're going to be able to flip that. You're going to be able to, if you type on it, it's either a chance of owning a board you're really going to like or an investment.
Yeah.
That's going to going to at least not lose you any money.
You also have a whole bunch of people that are coming into the community in a time where you can get things like an NK65. You can get boards at a price point that you couldn't really get consistently a year ago. Like you can get a lot more value for your money. And I think there are a lot of people who got into the community around this time last year when we saw a similar explosion in the summer into the early fall of 2019 that are maybe at a different point, that are maybe trying to offload their first board. They're trying to get rid of something so they can get something else. So you're going to see a spike in people selling things. Excuse me, but while everyone is still trying to get, still trying to get in on the hot new thing,
And that's rounding back to our original discussion. We see boards like 65% and TKLs being made because they do check a lot of boxes, right? The other thing is, when you look at boards that are hyped, that are marketed correctly, that are run by people like Dixie. This isn't a stab at any of these people. I don't want this to come across. I love the guys at Keycolt. I love the guy, obviously love Dixie, Smith and Rune. Those are great guys. They're making boards that they want to make. And when the hypest boards are the 65% and the TKLs, it's kind of the sheep mentality. It's the herd mentality. You're just going to like what the most hype thing is, right? You're going to enjoy. I mean, it's the same thing with shoes, right? People like certain types of shoes because everybody kind of likes that type of shoe. And then when people kind of go, "Oh, we don't really like this shoe," they don't like it. So it's all this kind of herd mentality. And so when these companies are releasing boards in very particular layouts that they really like, it is shaping how the community views these boards as, oh, well, this one's clearly better because I mean, look at the boards that it has versus the layout that this board has. And 75%, I haven't really mentioned it because 75% is such a like shit show of like, well, what actually is a 75%? Because there's so many different things you can do with it that I'm kind of excluding that from this conversation, because 75%, it can either be super hype or what on earth is that thing? And I don't put anybody, any of the vendors at fault. It's just an interesting concept that I think people like Dixie and Iron, and to kind of an extent, I mean, obviously they released the 60%, but kind of an extent of what is hype from Keycolt. Well, it's the TKL, and then now the number 2. There's a reason that the 65% is getting a number 2 before the 60%, right? Like they're going with the hype thing.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think it's just like it's market trends, right? Like if 60%'s come back around and they do really, really well with a couple releases, things will follow suit. But if you're Keycolt and you're sitting there and you're looking, okay, well, we had 600 boards and 450 of them were 65s and 150 were 60s. Like we're gonna run more 65s because it's gonna be more profitable. More there's obviously more of a need to fulfill that layout than there would be for 60s. I mean, I love 65%. That's my kind of preferred layout now. Like, I really enjoy that. I think 75%, like Chewy said, it's kind of like it's a shit show in like the best way because everything is like different. Like I know the meme is like, oh, is it a 75%? Does it have a knob? Does it have a screen? It's like, yeah, but then like they're all different. Like you can't take a PCB out of 175% and put it in another.
I mean, you can, but
it might not work.
Might not get very far.
So like, yeah, 75% are like, we said this all the way back last year, is like kind of one of the most diverse layouts where you can really do so many different things with 75% that you just physically can't do with 60 and 65.
Yeah, and even TKL, because if you start straying away from the norm, I mean, like the craziest thing in the world is people are like, we're going to add an F13 to this TKL. And people, and that caused mixed emotions because you're changing something that hasn't been changed, right?
Yeah.
You're adding in something slightly different, and that's freaking people out. And I think that's hilarious, but you know, it is the board that allows you to change the most. You know, you with 65%, what do you have? You have the badge and you have the bottom row. And then, you know, you have basically two different bottom rows on 65%. You can either go the Bauer bottom row or you can just do the one post.
Yeah.
There's not a whole huge different, or you can do the mismatched bottom row, the win keyless mismatched.
I like
so
this.
not a whole lot.
I like this question. What is your reasoning for your own preference on layouts? I'm interested in hearing your own preferences and why. So Chewy, what do you go first?
Well, when I got my second board, 001 Anthony built it for me, and it was a KBD 75. And he put function on caps lock
I think
and said, "Oh,
not that type of layout, like 60, 65.
Oh, I know. This is why.
Oh, okay.
This leads into why.
Okay.
So caps lock WASD is arrows. So that was on a 75% board, and then I was like, I'm not ever using these arrow keys. I'm going to try 60%. And then I just got so used to the arrow keys that I was like, why the fuck do I need anything else? Like everything I ever really need on here is right here. If I do rarely need arrows, I've got them and it's very quick. I don't have to pick my right hand up and it looks so clean and symmetrical. And that's why I loved it. I use WASD arrow. Yeah. So I just pinky on there, WASD arrows. It's fantastic. I've got everything I need to get me through 99% of the day. I've 100%, right? Everything I can do everything. The reason I grab other boards is because I might be able to do it a little faster.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I landed on 60%. I loved it.
Yeah, I like 65% because I do things in Excel where I need to like be able to like arrow over to like a next row and then type something really quick, and it's easy to get stuck in like a function layer, or like I don't know, it's just faster for me to just go down with my pinky with my right hand. So I guess it also has to do with the fact that might have something to do with the fact that I'm left-handed, where like the caps lock WASD arrows just doesn't really work for me. I'll use it sometimes when I'm at home, like that. I do have function WASD set to arrows on my 60s, not on caps lock, because I do have to use that as well. But yeah, I prefer 65 because I just like the way that I like the functionality of it. I like having a dedicated delete key without having to lose something else, like without having to lose tilde. Like it gives me the most options. Like weird reason, but when I used to play CSGO a bunch, having tilde is super important because that opens your console so you can see things, you can put in commands. You can do a lot in CSGO with the console. So it's like really important to be able to open that, and I didn't really want to map it to something else. But if I want to have delete on a 60%, I put it where tilde would go. So it's kind of like necessity there.
Yeah. I feel you. And it's all preference, right? Cyrus and I, we do things the way we want them done, right? Whether our boards are set up differently because we want our boards to do certain things. So like for me, my delete's on my escape on the second layer because it's just, boom, delete. And it's funny because even on my TKLs, it's that way. Even on this, I literally on my 65 or 75%, both it's got a tilde key on there, but both of those are escape. So I'm not sitting there hitting tilde because I'm used to my escape being where the tilde is. I just have two escapes on the top layer. So it's how you use it, right? Your boards are made to be used by you and you alone, unless you're having to share, but then maybe go for something more standard. But if I'm at home using my board that 99.9% of the time I'm going to be sitting at. Make it for yourself. It doesn't need to be. ESDF arrows. I can see it.
Yeah.
Get your homing key on there. I feel you. Any board that needs QMK, yeah. I mean that's
like an established standard
Yeah.
at this point. I feel like there's very few boards that come out that don't have QMK support. And if they do, more often than not, they're like some like overseas product that is like just now getting released over here. Yeah. I still couldn't use 40s. Like I think someone said that people who don't know how to use 40s just don't understand keyboards. I'm like, listen, I
Sure.
don't want to have to think that hard while I'm trying to use my keyboard. Like that's the one thing. That's like why I try to keep everything simple and try to like not do as many layers. Is like I don't want to have to think about it. I just want to go, you know?
Yeah, I guess I don't understand keyboards. To go even further, I like Win keyless. I don't like HHKB. I need to crouch.
Yeah, I need control.
I need control, and I need control where it is.
Yeah.
So,
well, you need it because you can't do control caps lock.
Yeah.
You have to have control.
I have function.
Yeah, you have to have function there. Yeah,
So,
I just like to crouch in games, and control alt delete would be weird because I use that like at work. I don't know. Couldn't get. Yeah.
Control alt delete's a two-handed thing on 60% for me.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's because I have to function, control, alt, escape.
True.
So it's. I mean, I can kind of do it, but it's goofy. But it's. Yeah, and Win keyless just aesthetically looks fantastic. And I've got where the function key is on most boards on the split right shift, that's where my Windows key is. So, which I forgot someone said that randomly in Discord, and it was like, oh, like, it's like, why the fuck have I not been doing that? I've been putting it on the second layer alt key. And I don't know why. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. So, other than that, to wrap it up, I think we're still gonna be in the 65% for a while. I think 75% are gonna start growing and more. I know Cyrus has said that before, where 75% we're kind of headed in that direction. I think with boards like the GMMK Pro, which is going to get more and more people in, that's going to get people going, well, where's my 75%? And I think in 2021, we're going to start seeing look, it's another 75% gasket mounted, insert the title of this episode. So if I had a prediction of 2021 where it's going to be a lot of the same, but with 75% instead of 65%.
Yeah, because I think what you'll see and what we're seeing now is that the boards that got the new people into the community, the boards that got them invested into this crazy hobby, are going to be what kind of are the mainstay for the next like year. And I think there's a ton of people that are coming in that are in the Satisfaction 75. We're going to start seeing the 7Vs get shipped like late Q1, early Q2, I think. Maybe Q2 next year.
Said February, I think, but
yeah. I'm going to assume it's like a month off.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe March. Like I think we'll start seeing the 7Vs get shipped out to people. The GMMK is going to start getting people involved. So then the people are going to naturally want to create a better version or a more preferential version of the board that got them into it. So I think you'll start seeing a lot of interest checks in the 75% range because of that. But yeah, 65s are still going to be kind of the king for quite some time.
Yeah, it'll be a minute. And I mean that's just because we'll look at the great boards that came out. Like look at what got delivered. The seeds were planted in 2019 for 65% to be boards of 2020. And I mean, Satisfaction 75 still kind of fluked its way into getting that keyboard of the year spot, as it just kind of had the hype train rolling on it, and it wound up. I mean, who knows what honestly would have won? I kind of would like to see if the Satisfaction 75 gets knocked out early, what the rest of that looks like, because it suddenly becomes anyone's game at that point. But
does the Satisfaction 75 get knocked out early because people are just like still salty that they couldn't get one?
Maybe.
Because it's not going to have the same benefit it had last year, where it had shipped like a couple months, like it was the perfect timing. It shipped a couple months before the competition. People were loving it. People were really stoked about it. And then, it was super hype. It was hype on Mech Market. It was hype on the Instagrams, the Reddits. I wonder if it will get taken out early because people are mad. And you know what's funny? GMMK Pro, I wonder if it'll get included, and I wonder if the entire community will meme on it to get it to win. I kind of hope that the community trolls that hard and gets it to win, because then that would be absolutely hilarious. And if we do the coverage again, I hope that we could get in contact with someone from Glorious and have them come on and give like some sort of speech or some sort of like acceptance for their win. We need to make that happen, community. We got 118 people. It starts here. Let's make the GMMK Pro win Mech Madness 2021.
Boom. Yeah, I'm looking at the thing. If it loses to the number 2, then the number 2 has to go up against the Bauer. And then the winner of that goes to go against the Iron 165, which at that point, then you're really having a lot of these intense discussions. And I just feel like the Satisfaction 75 was just holding their middle fingers up, running through the tournament. Oh, screw you and screw you and screw you. It's crazy. So, but speaking of keyboards, I think it might be a certain time of the week.
Yeah. Boys and girls, it is time for keyboard of the week. And I apologize to previous winners. I've been really bad about putting the pictures in the background, but I'm going to fix that tonight before I go to bed to make sure that everyone who is a winner gets in the background of the stream. But if you're not familiar with what keyboard of the week is, you can head on over to our Discord. Put !! Discord in the chat. Join there. Put a picture of your keyboard in the keyboard pictures channel. We'll take a look at all of them. Then Chewy and I will pick our favorites, and then chat, you pick the winner. And then Chewy, what does the winner get?
The winner gets their keyboard as the banner on our Discord. Their keyboard, you're going to get a specific role that's going to be above our sponsors on the right. It's going to be nice and bright pink, so people are going to know when you're online. They're going to know what you're doing, and you get to flex on people that way. Like I said, your picture is going to be in the background of our shows, and you're going to get entered into the contest that's coming up here in 2 weeks. I don't think we'll have one next week. Got something planned for next week. So this is kind of the last one before we, go into holiday mode and go into keyboard of the week, keyboard of the year, Mechs on Deck edition mode. So, and then on top of that, we'll post on Instagram. I haven't posted the last one on Instagram, but it was funny. I was about to, and then he posted it. Scott Water posted it. I was like, oh, well, I might wait a little bit. And so, but, on top of all of that, and that's if you don't want us to post your board on our Instagram, please just let us know, and I will contact you before we post it. And we got some cool prizes that we're going to talk about next week, and then I feel like I'm missing something. On keyboard of the week.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been opening pictures of keyboards. I have not been fully paying attention.
No, it is all good. There is no December keyboard of the week. No, that is going to be the tournament for keyboard of the year.
Yeah, it's the competition.
A free Plum Iron 180. I wish.
I mean, we can tell Vox it got lost in shipping.
They got lost in shipping and wound up at this very specific person's house. So Mech Madness 2021. No, more like Mechs on Deck Madness 2020.
Yeah.
So, and we've got a cool. I haven't even told Osiris this, but so next week we're going to be talking about, because next week is it'll be the episode before Black Friday. So we're going to be going and discussing what to get or what to subtly hint at your significant other or family members, gifts for the keyboarders in your life, gifts for the streamers in your life, and
So-
everything in between.
So everyone in chat with a significant other, throw them the link, make them watch, tell them
Yeah.
your Twitch username, and then just type in chat exactly what you want. So then that way they get it for you perfectly, and you don't have to tell them.
Exactly. Boom. Mom, I want a huge tub of lube. Perfect. Exactly.
Exactly
So-
what you should tell your mother. She won't ask any questions whatsoever.
or make any assumptions. So, but we're gonna. I've started working on this because the sky is 256K. I understand that concept, but we're going to be thinking about the things that would just help. Right? They're just things that Osiris and I are very picky people. Excuse me, and I think this is something that we're going to be spending time on. Going, okay, what would we want? What would we want that's like I could go tell this person to go tell my parents to get? Because if I say, hey, mom, dad, I want, mom, dad, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, whatever. Hey, I want GMK, whatever. What's the dog meme set? The Doge, GMK Doge. They probably just looking like, what the hell is that? Or wait, what do you mean? I
Gregory
ordered it
meme?
and now you don't get to open it. Like, what's that? So we're going to address all of that.
Yeah. Don't tell your parents to get you GMK Gregory for Christmas. Just buy it yourself if you want it, because they're gonna think you're crazy. But it's keyboard of the week time, and we got this first one by good friend Static Age Space 65, and I want to read this whole thing. It's a board that got him into the hobby. Saw it, wanted it, couldn't buy it. I was happy to be able to get in on the Space 65 Cyber Voyager. Not a huge 65% fan, but this one works for me. Built with a carbon fiber plate, gray C3 stabs, tangies that are lubed and filmed with MT3 Sus Watari monochrome kit. And my golly, this iPhone might be the prettiest iPhone I've seen.
Good. It's a classic set. I think it kind of gives that classic vintage vibe. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Absolutely. I like it. I'm sure it looks good. Also, you put a picture in there of the side lighting, and I think that's such a cool aspect of it.
Just a nice accent. So next up, I really like this build. The Canoe Gen 2 with C3 Kiwi switches. Duroc stabs, GMK First Love. I love that you're playing with the green, right? The green, it's a very harsh green. This is a very like the Joker vibe board, but you've downplayed the green. You've got a couple accents on there, and then of course the plate is bleeding through, but it's GMK First Love, and it matches the board really well. At least in this picture, it does. This is fan. I mean, Jay Butcher takes amazing pictures. This is a cool ass board.
Yeah. I am not a big fan of the Canoe Gen 1. I think initially when I first got into the hobby, I was much more of a fan of that design style, but I think this is a little bit more subdued and it doesn't just shout at you, Canoe. I like this much better. Yeah, this looks great. I feel like First Love is a set that you don't see very often, but it looks really good.
I would agree with that. So what do we got next?
Next up is Phoenix 45 in a P3D case, Boba 62-gram switches, palm plate, no stabs, hub keycaps, all black. Interesting. We've seen a lot of these P3D cases since we started doing keyboard of the week. Not something I was super familiar with. I don't believe you were either, Chewy. Kind of like we knew of the existence of it, but we didn't know the extent. And dude, I love them every time I see them because this is like the best way to get something and try it out and like get something that looks cool and is not super expensive.
Yeah, I love, someone, I think Sky is 256K said like 2021 year of the injection molding. I love any chance we can get these kind of more inexpensive boards that are more customized. Because at the end of the day, you can make these boards for pretty inexpensive. You can get, if you know your way around designing a layout, you can get yourself a laser cut plate and get, if you want to go into hand wiring, good luck. I mean, more than welcome to try. But the other thing you can do is, PCBs. If you know how to design one, PCBs are pretty inexpensive. But a lot of that money that you're putting into a PCB goes into the fact that it had to be designed and put through a lot of different testing and all of that. So it wouldn't take a whole lot to make something really cool like this.
Yeah. Plus, it's really weird looking. So if you took this to the office, no one's going to want to mess around with it because they're not going to know what the hell's going on. But all right, what do we got next, Chewy?
Next
This is
up,
a hot one.
quick Forever 65 with GMK white on black. This is Drifting Bunnies board. The 65% gasket mounted. I promise we're not shitting on Drifting Bunnies. Excited to see how this one turns out. Hopefully we get to build one of these. If not, we'll at least be able to get our hands on one of these and just kind of see it, if not just by force. Not going over and knocking on his door. Love the clean. I love that he's used this GMK white on black for a long time, and it always looks classy. It's clean. It's always clean.
Yeah, super good. If you haven't checked out this board, check out the interest check. The weight design of this looks really sweet. It looks awesome. It's a cool way to do the weight design that some people have done something similar, but I don't know. I really like the way that he did the weight on this. And I think the board is going to be very, very good. Obviously, the Austin is absolutely fantastic. So I'm sure this would be right in line with that in terms of quality. But yeah, this looks clean. Looks good. It also basically matches our title.
Yep. Good job, buddies. So next up, KBD 67, another board we talked about. With the Kuroshiro mat. I don't know. This might just be the white on black, black on white. Sorry for yawning. The black on white EPBT set. Because that caps lock looks
strange.
Very different. Yeah, EPBT. Okay, that's what. Thank you. With what I believe is the Turkish flag symbol on the escape key. I could be wrong. I apologize if I am. Very clean. I love the white silver. Reminds me of Apple from like the 2000s. Just a clean look.
Yeah,
Singapore.
clean.
Singapore.
Yeah, this looks clean. It's just very minimalistic, very monochrome, except for the Singapore flag and then the RGB from your glorious Model D you've got going on there. But yeah, I like it. It's cool aesthetic. I've always been weirded out by this desk mat though, if I'm honest, because it doesn't like the geometric shapes don't make sense with like the Kuroshiro vibes to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's just me.
Yeah. So what do we have next?
Next up, this is Bueno Builds LZ Physics, built with GAT red inks on a carbon fiber plate with GMK DMG, and he's even got the desk mat and the actual Game Boy to match.
Mad flex.
Yeah, dude, this is flexing hard. This looks great. It looks really, really cool. The carbon fiber coming through also looks really cool because it kind of has that because carbon fibers it's obviously not super dark blacks. Like sometimes it can be, but it's It's more of like the dark gray, which also kind of fits in with the like old school color palette that you've got going on with DMG. So it all kind of meshes together.
Yeah, this is dope. And it's also nice seeing the OG Game Boy next to DMG.
Dude, they did such a
Like,
good job.
that color, the color matching is fantastic. So well done.
Dude.
Excited to have Bueno. If you guys haven't seen, this is Bueno Builds. We will be having him on tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central. So be sure to not miss it. What do we have next?
This is the acrylic Arisu. I don't think I said that right, but I tried. With KS3 Gatoron yellows, cherry screw ends, and JTK purple on white. I actually own this set. Yeah, looks good. This looks good. I mean, yeah, you got
another clean look. Space bars, obviously, I know you can't. You're doing what you're doing. What
yeah,
you
you're
can
working
do.
with what you got.
But it's a clean build. You know, I'm a huge fan of the stacked acrylic boards. I've got one right there. Doesn't have caps on it right now. I haven't used it in a little bit, but I still really like it. Not getting rid of it anytime soon. Fantastic board. Love the artisans too.
Yeah, I mean, this looks great. I mean, the only thing I would say is maybe when you have the chance, get a keycap set that's got the matching or the actual space bars. But other than that, you're golden. I mean, I keep this set around because it's nice, it looks good, and it works well with with lots of different colors. And I like purple, and it looks like you like purple as well. So props, my dude.
Boom.
What do we got next? Chewy.
Space 65 Cyber Voyager with GMK Dark. This just came out recently. Creamsicles lubed with 205 grade 0 spring swept 73 gram thick MPs on a carbon fiber plate with the V2 Durox stabs. Another clean set. At first, I kind of thought this was
Dual shot,
but it is GMK Dark. Not looking very dark on this picture, but I was kind of upset that I didn't get dark because I think that's a great one. But I think my reasoning was I already have 9s. But this is a fantastic looking set because it's just going to be the epitome of clean.
yeah. Yeah, the light does make it look a little bit gray, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure this looks super good in person. This is very like with the red accents, it's very Darth Vader-esque going on here. Remember we had that like full on Sith setup a few months back.
Yeah.
This would kind of fit well into that. Full icon mod too, which is something you don't see, like even with the bottom row. Very rarely see that. But yeah, this looks really cool. Also, another iPhone, which I know the Cyber Voyagers are just kind of also hitting people right now. So should see a lot of these in the next couple of weeks.
Trying to read what this next one is. This looks like a Topra because that looks like Topra High Pro. Andrew, it is a board. I can't.
That's definitely High Pro.
Yeah.
Caps. I don't know what that. It is a real force board.
Just Systems 108 UW. Never heard of this. There's a unique bottom row. Got a thick enter key. Kind of got the Honeywell vibes, from the High Pro. Very cool looking set. I'm sure that's just so much fun to type on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it's kind of like a little bit of a shock every time you go to type on this, because you have to like kind of readjust to where the spacebar is. Yeah, JP layout. Yeah, because there's the HHKB that's like similar to this.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is a little bit of a culture shock every time you probably switch from like a normal layout board to this. You're like, you kind of have to readjust. Why do they do split right shift but not left?
Couldn't tell you.
You know what? Because you got to keep 1, Q, A, and Z all in a line. You have to.
Absolutely. Next up, pretty classic, pretty classy. Jane. That weight does look solid. I think that I want to see more people do this kind of iridescent vibe on the weight. So it's clean. Can't really see what caps are on it.
This
But
is a clone.
Attack of the Clones. Well, maybe.
Well, the picture is literally named Jane Clone _1.jpg.
Well, if it's a clone, then please don't sell it as an actual Jane V2. But if you just want it for yourself, then sure, I guess. I mean, whatever. If you spent the money on it, sure. But I mean, the weight looks really cool, but there's not much. I mean, we've seen the Jane before, but there's not much else I can say about it because I can't see the caps.
Yeah. I mean, cool looking butt. Sure.
A first build edition, that'd be fun. That'd be definitely fun. 2 boards, spending the most time on my desk, the U80 with SA ice caps. Haven't seen that in a while. And the TMO V2 with GMK Froyu and Moyu blacks. I love how similar these look. I love this picture is great. But I just love how like they look so similar, but they're obviously very, very different boards. And I just love the way the Rama U80 looks. I think it looks so clean and so nice.
Yeah, this looks really, really good. Also, I need to buy some Moyu blacks. Need to find some Moyu blacks. A switch I want to play around with more. I actually kind of want to just blend these two switches that you've used in the U80 and the TMO. This looks really good. Also, props on the editing for getting the reflection like perfect. Yeah, looks really cool. It's a really cool picture. This almost looks like something that Rama would do for like their marketing. Also, Froyo, kind of a slept on set.
Yep. Absolutely. So Bueno has put in multiple builds. So we'll just kind of go through these very quickly, as we do typically only have one picture, and honestly, the first one's the best one. But really quick, we have a Q built with creams on brass with GMK Mizu. Very classic and clean look. And then the Juby built with navies on an alu plate with GMK solarized. You don't see the light solarized that often.
Yeah, solarized dark is typically what you see.
So cool to see. That's a little throwback. I enjoy that. So, but next up we got Don Bros, the KBD 67 Mark II with the blue gray with the GMK 8008 and alpacas and one holy panda near it. I love it. I like what the colors are doing in this picture. It's kind of like swirling some colors around, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that this is. I imagine the board looks very different in person. Given I have this keycap set, but I love 8008. I've actually got it on my OSA. I'm thinking about putting it back on my Bauer and taking dual shot off. But yeah, I'm sure this looks fantastic in person because well, people don't realize the mods of the of 8008 are like a dark blue.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like really upset because they thought it was like a gray, but it's not. It's blue. So I imagine it pairs well with the blue gray, like in person.
It brings that blue out some. So next up, in response, we have a call-in response. We have the tofu with 9 and a very modded Game Boy. I love it. I love this. I love this look. I love 9s on a blackboard. I think it looks fantastic. So yeah, very clean. Love the little keister from Switch Mod on there. So well done, very clean look, and I like the Game Boy.
Yeah. That looks cool. That
Yep.
looks
And then
awesome.
what is our last one, Mr. Osiris?
The stacked acrylic Zelda Majora's Mask themed keyboard. Hashtag, he said butts, but it's hashtag key butts. This looks cool. I'm sure this is kind of like, it's like a childhood dream become a reality, kind of, in a sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks really cool. Really cool idea when people start putting something else that they really enjoy, integrating it into the hobbies that they love. Yeah.
I mean, I've got the little boom.
There you go.
Got my little Mechs on deck board that, it just prevented me from ever being able to sell it. But I'm going to be changing out this blue and just doing it all black.
Ooh.
Just keeping it classy. So, I think you go first again.
Yeah, I'm choosing the Canoe.
The Canoe by Jay Butcher. Very nice. I'm gonna go. What do I want to do? I'm gonna go with the LZ Physics, the GMK DMG, with a runner up. I wish I'd gotten a more overhead shot of the Forever 65.
Yeah, for sure. I probably would have picked that if there was more shown. It was closer up.
So let me get this.
But chat, so these are going to be your two options while Chewy gets the poll set up. We have Bueno Builds LZ Physics with GAT red inks on a carbon fiber plate with GMK DMG, along with the matching desk mat and Game Boy. So props to all that. And then Mr. J. Perture's Canoe Gen 2 with C3 Kiwis that do match the plate, must I add. Durox stabs, which are in purple, which match the case, as well as GMK First Love. So full on matchy vibes on both of these. I don't think you can go wrong.
No, you absolutely can't. So, guys, I have started the voting. It's at the top of chat. If you can click on chat. If you're looking at on your phone, just tap the screen to bring chat up really quick and get that all loaded up and ready. Until then, or really quick, I want to talk about our awesome sponsors. You can go to candykeys.com/Mechs on deck to go check out GMK Hall U. They've also got Mob switches on there. That's a big time favorite of a lot of people. As well as other things like lube. They've got switch films, PCBs. They're really starting to up their game on all the extra stuff you may need for buying keyboard products. Next up is mechsondeck.dixiemech.com. GMK Think Caps just launched. So a very clean, very classic set, dark, lots of dark colors, is kind of going off of the laptops. I think they're called Think boards with the laptops with the little knob in there. I know we've got a good buddy that loves those, so be sure to check that out if you're wanting something. And obviously, it's not just for those boards; it is also for just the colorway is a clean set. So be sure to check that out. You can go to Project Keyboard, and they do not have anything currently running, but we will keep you updated. I know they do often have pre-orders up on their sets that they've been running. So be sure to check that out. And then switchmon.net/mechsondeck for 4% off of your order. They'll do lube runs at in the middle of the night, and then they don't have a set running at the moment, but we should be seeing some. We'll probably be seeing some right before the end of the year. And then our awesome partners, Zap Cables. Zap Cables, in our opinion, makes the best cables. And they now have the retractable phone cable look. You can get that in a DIY now, so be sure to check that out. Type Beast, typebea.st. He just released his newest newsletter. I read it pretty much the second it came out, and it was fantastic. And of course, smithbrune.com for Smith & Brune. The Iron 180 just launched. Be sure In about 2 weeks, the Vickery for the Iron, the Plum Edition, is going live here in about a week and a half to two. About a week and a half. So it's the weekend after American Thanksgiving. So check that out.
Absolutely. Looks like chat last couple minutes to get your votes in.
Ooh, this is close.
It's getting close. It's getting close. If you're alt tabbed, tab back in. If you're just listening to our sweet, sultry voices, tab back in. Make a vote. We've got a nice, beautiful canoe Gen 2, and then also beautiful, but maybe slightly less beautiful LZ Physics with GMK DMG.
I love it. And then tomorrow we've got Bueno Builds, who's actually on one of these Keyboard of the Weeks. He'll be here tomorrow, 8 p.m. We're going to be chatting some keyboards, and excited to bring him on. We were both on Basic Builds stream recently. Really had a good time there. And then what are you doing Saturday?
I am building the board that is in this box. If you came from Mr. Otos' stream earlier, you watched him build one of these. I will be building another Mode 8 keyboard, Founders, or first edition, I believe is what that one was, if I remember correctly, in the dark variant. So come hang out with me. We're going to be putting it together. I think I'm going to do a mixture of 2 different keycap sets. I haven't fully decided what I want to do, but I've been wanting to do something like that for a while. So come hang out with me. It's going to be a good time. That'll be Saturday at 2 p.m. Central. So yeah, be there, be square.
Voting is at the top of chat. So if you're on mobile, tap the screen, chat will pop up on the right, and you'll click on the top. If you're on PC, just look at the top of chat. It'll be there. My apologies also. Pretty sure my autofocus is all janked up because it's just only focusing on the microphone. So tonight, if I looked fuzzy, my apologies. Raid. I have an idea for a raid that someone we haven't raided in a while. But dude, I'm telling you, man, you had such a strong lead at the beginning of the year when we started this.
Dude, yeah. I guess my picks have just gotten bad. I'm not picking the hype anymore. My tastes, the community has changed and my tastes haven't changed to match just yet. So
there it is. So Tuesday we typically try and spread our wings just a little bit, but we want to so we will go outside of keyboards on Tuesdays, and Wednesdays we do raid within the keyboard community. But I want to go back to someone we haven't raided in a while.
Okay.
We have not raided Between the Bricks in a hot minute.
Dude, you want to get some Legos going?
I want to get some Legos going. This guy is fantastic. And yeah, Lang, you and I must have been the same wavelength. He's live. He kind of tailed off there for a while, but I guess he's back. I've seen him more and more recently, and we have not rated him in a hot minute. So this guy does Lego builds, super friendly, super nice. So definitely go throw him some follows.
Getting it set up now. But again, chat, coming out with us tomorrow, we'll be joined by Bueno Builds at 8 p.m. Central, and then Saturday for the Mode 80 at 2 p.m. Central Time. It'll be fun. So come hang out, be a part of chat, ask questions. We'll answer them. We might ignore you, but probably not. If we ignore you, I'm sorry. It's not on purpose. Unless it is, then I'm sorry, but not sorry.
Then you deserved it. Kidding.
All right.
Well, thank you guys, and as always, buy a Switch tester.